Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillahi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in wa ba'd. So we're on Hadith number 83, the best charity. All right, and obviously because there's different types of charity, right? You know, there's charity that you give to your family, charity that you give to the people, charity that you give to masakin, people, poor people, orphans. So now we're going to look at what the best charity is for a person to give if he has money to give. So he said, عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم دينار أنفقته في سبيل الله ودينار أنفقته في رقبة ودينار تصدقت به على مسكين ودينار أنفقته على أهلك أعظمها أجرا الذي أنفقته على أهلك. رواه Muslim. So Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, he reported that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, dinar is what? It's gold coins. Dirham is what? Silver coins. So dinar, it refers to the gold coins, and the dirham to the silver. So he said, dinarun anfaqatahu fi sabilillah. So this is one dinar, one gold coin that you spent in the path of Allah. Fi sabilillah. All right, this is one. And he said, and another one that you spent to free a captive. Then he said, another one that you gave as charity to a poor person. Then he said, another one that you spent on your family, that you gave and, given your family their necessities, the things that they need. He said, أَعْظَمُهَا أَجْرًا. And he said, the greatest of all of them in reward is the one that you spend on your family. Because the family is the first obligation. Before you can go around and spend and give charity to the poor people, you got a chair, man. You got to bring her another chair. Yes. She wants her own chair, but y'all ain't give her. No. She's the best cat. She sits in the class, but she's got to have her own chair. So I mean, obviously the family is the first obligation for the person. So if the person is not fulfilling that obligation, then what's the benefit of the person giving in the path of Allah, giving money to free a captive, or giving money to a poor person on the street, but he's not fulfilling his obligations with his family? And this is with charity, but it's also with everything, with deen, with knowledge. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nara. Where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, "O you who believe, save yourselves first. Save yourselves and then save your families from the fire." So your first obligation is to yourself. The first obligation you have is what? To you. If you're going to give advice, and you're going to, knowledge is for first to benefit you. Then after that, then it's to your family. Then after that is to the rest of the people. But a lot of the times what we see nowadays is that the people, they get so focused on what? Everyone around them. Let's go give dawah in the prison. Let's go give dawah out to the crackheads in the street. Let's go give dawah to all these people, but their family, they neglect them, and they don't give their family what they need. So what do we see? We start to see the preacher child syndrome. You know the preacher child syndrome? You don't know about the preacher's child, the preacher's son? You never heard of that one? You ain't from the South, huh? The biggest devil in the church is always who? The preacher's son. Because the preachers always focus on who? Other people, on the congregation, because they're the people with money. He's trying to please everybody, but he neglects his family. He's not giving the family the tarbiyah, the raising up that they need, the nurturing that they need in the deen. So what happens is, then his son starts to rebel because he's not getting that tarbiyah. The fathers focus on everybody else, but not focus on him, not focus on giving him advice, and not focus on teaching him. So that's what you see. You see a lot of the imams around America in the masjid, right? You see him, he's the imam, telling the people, do this, don't do this, do this, don't do this. His son's smoking weed. His son's fornicating. His son's joining a gang. His son's listening to music. His son's, not just his son, but maybe all of his sons, because of the neglect. So we always focus on the rights that our family have over us first. That's your most important thing. Wallahi, forget the people, akhi. Wallahi, if you can't fix your family, you can't fix the people. If you can't, stand up and fulfill your obligations with your family, If your family's in need and you can't fulfill those needs, then what are you going to do with the people? What benefit do you have for the people? Absolutely nothing. And that's why, Allah subhanahu, we talked about this ayah in the last class, right? In the Adab al-Mufrad. And when the people asked about what can we spend, what did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? Qul al-afu. And what do we say that this Qul al-afu means? Al-afu is money that you have after you fulfilled your obligations to your family. To everybody that has a right over you, that you fulfill your obligations first. And then if you have money left over, then you give that money in charity. But first you have to fulfill the obligations to your family first. And that's the most important thing. We can't, neglect our duties first. Neglect our duties, say, oh, we're going to spend on this, we're going to spend on that, and we're going to take care of this, but we're not taking care of our families. Allah musta'an wa ilahana subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.